Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture on C++ programming language. We are on lecture 21st, and on lecture 20 we discussed about conditional statements on C++, and we also talked about if statements. And in this lecture we discuss about another conditional statement on C++, which is called if-else statements. So we are on lecture 21st. Lecture 21st. And in this lecture, we talk about another conditional statements, which is called if-else statements. If-else. So if-else statement is used in C++ to check a condition. If a condition is true, it will execute, a part of a program. If the condition is false, it will execute another part of the program. So let's check it, how we can use it in our program. So we write if, then we have condition. We put or replace our condition inside parentheses. Then we open the if block. We close the if block. Then we have the else part. Then we open the curly bracket for the else, and then we close. So we have here the condition. So if this condition is true, we write the code to be executed here. Code to execute when the condition is true. When the condition is true. So if the condition is true, so the body of if will be executed, and any statements we write here, like it should be like it can be one statement or multiple statements. But when the condition is true, this part of the program will be executed, the if part, which starts from here and close here. But if the condition is false, this condition is false, so the if part will not be executed, the body of the if, but the else section will be executed. Code to be executed, when condition is false. So it actually divides our program in two sections. So if the program, if in our program the condition is true, the body of if statement will be executed, this section. So we write all the statements here, which is, when they will be executed when the condition is true. And we put all the statements in the else section when the condition is false, so the else section will be executed. So it actually divides our program in two sections. If the condition is true, this section will be executed, the first section. If the condition is false, so the else section will be executed, second part of the program. So let's write an example for this. Write an example in C++. I put here if-else. If-else. So we can here we write the program ash. Let's start from here. Ash include IO stream, and then we can write using namespace std. Then in this program we ask from the user to enter a number. If the number is greater than or equal to 0, we say it's a positive number. If the number is less than 0, so it's a negative number. So this program will actually check the number is positive or negative. So let's write that program. So we write here integer main, then we open the main bracket and close. Then we have at the end return 0. So here I declare a variable integer number, and I cout, and ask the user enter a number, and then cn. Whenever user enter that number, we should put that number inside the number variable. And then here we check if number is greater than or equal to 0. So we cout here. And we say quotation, the number is positive. The number is positive. Quotation semicolon. Else, if the user enters a number which is, minus, like minus 10, so it's, so the condition become false. So the else section will be executed. Else, we say, we open the bracket, curly braces for the else, we close the curly braces, and we say cout, the number is negative. Quotation. So in this program, we declare a variable called number, and we asked from the user enter a number. When the user enters a number, suppose user enters here the number 10. So now here we check the condition using if and else statement. So we check the condition if number is greater than or equal to 0. So the number is now 10. Is 10 is equal to 0 or greater than 0. So 10 is of course greater than 0. So condition become true. Condition in this case become true. So when the condition is become true, so the body of if statement will be executed. Any statements we have here inside the body of if, those statements will be executed because the condition is true now. So it prints out to the user the number is positive. And the else part will not be executed now because the condition is true. So now if the user enters minus 10, now what happens here? Now our variable number contains minus 10. Is minus 10 is greater than or equal to 0? Of course not. Minus 10 is, less than 0. So the condition become false. In this case, the condition become false. So what happens? So the if parts will not be executed. So this part. And now the else part will be executed because the condition is false. When the condition is false, the if part will not be executed, but the else part will be executed. So it says the number is negative because the minus 10 is a negative number. So we use the if and else statement to check condition in C++. If the condition is true, one part of the program will be executed. If the condition is false, another section of the program, which is the else part, will be executed. So let's go and write some program in our computers. Thank you. So welcome back. I am in my computer. So let's open our code editor or IDE. So we are on lecture 21st. And in this lecture, we talked about, or we discussed about if-else statement in C++. And the if-else statement in C++ is used to check condition. If the condition is true, the if body will be executed. If the condition is false, so the else body will be executed, or the else part will be executed. So let's, write a simple program to check how it works. So I write integer number. And here I just want to check in this program if the number is positive or negative. So I'd say integer number, cout enter number, and then cn number. Now here we check if number is greater than or equal to 0. So any number which is greater than 0, that's a positive number, yes? So we see out here, we say number is we can put a space here, but it's positive. And else, if the condition is false, so we see out here, a number is negative. So here, we just wrote the program which asks from the user to enter a number. If that number which is entered by the user greater than or equal to 0, so the condition become true. Like for example, the user entered 5, so 5 is greater than 0, so it prints out cout number is positive or 5 is positive because the condition become true if the user enters 5. But if the user enters -5, so in this time the condition become false. So the if part will not be executed. So the else part will be executed. When the condition is true, the if part will be executed. If the condition is false, the else part will be executed. So let's compile and run the program. It says enter a number. I enter 45. And it says 45 is positive. But if we run again the program and we can check, it says enter a number. I enter -6. So it says -6 is negative. As you can see, when the condition is true, the if part will be executed. When the condition is false, the else part will be executed. So now we can also write another program, like any program you want. You can use the if statement, to run. And you can use the if statements to check for the condition. For example, I write a program. I just clean this code and write another program, integer age, and I want to check the age of the user. So cout, enter the age. So I see here cn. Okay. Now I check if age is greater than or equal to 18. So here I can see cout. So I can see here, I can tell you are eligible to vote. And also end line, I can write another statement also here. Cout. Thanks for voting. So we actually here we have two statements. We can have multiple statements inside the body of if or the body of else. And now I write the else part. So here I can see cout, you are not eligible to vote. So here I can say another statements. I can say you are eligible to vote when you became so I write here age Or I can see here when you become 18 minus age. I can see here also years old. If you can see in this program, we check if the user is eligible to vote or not. So any person who is 18 or greater than 18, he is eligible to vote, yes? So in this case, we check the age, the age of the person. If age is bigger or age is greater than or equal to 18, so the person should be 18 or greater than 18. So the if part will be executed. And we say, hey, you're eligible to vote. Thanks for voting. So we have here two statements. So we can put, multiple statements, or we can write multiple statements based on our program or requirements. And then if the age of the user is suppose 10, so the 10 is not bigger than 18, so the if part will not be executed and the else part will be executed. So in this case, it says see out, you're not eligible to vote. Yeah. And then see out in another statement, we say you are eligible to vote when you become, we can, subtract from 18 the age of the user. So it's become, so let's run our program. So enter your age. I enter my age is 25. And it says you're eligible to vote and thanks for voting. If you can see, I entered 25. So you can see here 25 is, bigger or greater than 18. So the if part will be executed. So it shows you are eligible to vote. So this statement you can see here in the output. And there's another statement inside the if, thanks for voting. So that you can see. So when the condition is true, the if part will be executed. So you can see the result of the program. So if you run the program again and enter your age, I enter 10. Oh, so you are not eligible to vote. So the else part will be executed and you are eligible to vote when you become 18 minus 8 years old. So it says you are eligible to vote when you become 8 years old. No, our logic is incorrect. So we should put here something, so choose when the user is, eligible to vote. So I can say when you, so you're eligible to vote after, like after years old, after, and I can remove the year, the old. So now if we run the program, so our logic is now correct. So for example, I enter, 12 and see you're eligible to vote. And in the another line, it says you're eligible to vote after 6 years. That's correct because the user age is 12 and 12 plus 6 become 18 years age, 18 years old. So now our logic is correct. So if you can see here, 12 is, is the 12 is greater than or equal to 18? No, 12 is, less than 18. So the condition become false. And in this case, the if section will not be executed. The else section will be executed, if you can see in the output. So this was a program which, checks if the user can vote or not. So this was lecture 21st. And thank you for watching this lecture. See you on the next lecture.